Hello everyone, this is Dude, along with...
Tommy, hello.
And we have a very special episode where Kami will be reading off the lore from the latest Lorcana.
Yes, Archazia's island.
Thank you. So.
I've waited here ages now, and I'd be alone if not for the company of my ink friends. The others have finally arrived from across the sea, seeking knowledge, seeking my help. They're worried, but they're not worried nearly enough. It's you, the Owl of the Azurite Sea! We've been looking for you for so long, Shanzai said. The ancient Illumineer adjusted her owl mask and swept a wing outward, welcoming the newcomer and her friends. The magical mask looked wary at first, but then smiled. At last, I feared you'd never come. Welcome to my little island. The classroom was unlike any Shanzai had ever seen. In place of chalkboards, wispy magical trails the owl called thought scrolls drifted through the air. Will we learn how to make those? She asked. Thoughts? The owl shrugged. No, dear. You either have them or you don't. It seemed like days. Time passed like a dream on the island as the owl taught them ink casting skills beyond anything they'd ever attempted. That's it. Now steal, but don't neglect the amethyst. It tends to run away on you. Steady. Don't forget to hold it in your imagination. And... Shanzai interrupted, pointing high in the sky. I did it! Look, the lion buys amethyst and steel. The owl beamed with pride. Hard work pays off, my child. The way you've been ink casting glimmers isn't wrong exactly. You're just not utilizing the full potential of your ink caster, and more importantly, your imagination, the owl said. Martin, is it? Just focus on both inks at once and... But Martin was focused on something else. Stop fiddling and pay attention, young man, tutted the owl. Martin had been casually strumming his ink caster, its magical strings humming with a playful tune. I am! This is how I focus my thoughts while I... Ah, there he is! An amber and emerald glimmer of a mischievous dog bounded over and gave the owl a sloppy kiss. Very good! The owl flapped excitedly. Soon we'll be seeing a flood of dual ink glimmers out of you. Martin winced, the events of the flood still heavy on his mind. Ah, yes, I'm sorry. Poor choice of words. The owl paused. Let's just say your talent may soon eclipse mine. She cocked her head. And I've been around a while. How does it work exactly? Asked Venturo, tapping one of the magical coils wrapped around his arm next to his ink caster. The Hexwell allows me to create powerful items like the coils. I'm sorry, Venturo interrupted the owl. The Hexwell? It's the reason this island exists. The owl's voice dropped to a whisper. A forge with such magical power must be safeguarded at all costs. Safeguarded? Venturo frowned. I feel like there's a teensy bit of history behind that word. My dear, you have the gift of understatement, the owl said. Once upon a time, using the Hexwell, I made a crown of immense power, and soon after, it was stolen. Bummer. A gift you have indeed. Eventually, the Hexwell crown was recovered and the thief imprisoned. The owl pointed at a floating thought scroll that displayed shadowy images of a broken crown. And after it was sundered in the recent struggle with the Sea Witch, half of it was hidden in the Great Illuminary, locked away safe. And the other half? Ventura asked. Is even safer, the owl replied with a wink. Shanzai set her inkcaster aside and began to doodle in the margins of her lore book. Why do you wear that mask anyway? There was a long pause before the owl replied. I suppose I'm just wary. If the identity of the true guardian of Hexwell Island became known, it might attract unwelcome guests. Like the Sea Witch? But we defeated her. The crown was broken. The owl sighed. Broken can be fixed, child. Who would recognize you? Shanzai asked. During our voyage, we heard stories of the legendary owl of the Azurite Sea, but no stories about... I'm sorry, what's your name again? The owl knew it was an attempt to draw out information. Secrecy was crucial, but this girl and her friends seemed different. Archazia. There was a long pause. It's been so long since I've heard my own name. Shanzai set her lore book aside and extended her hand. Pleased to meet you, Archazia. It's nice to have a friend again, especially a fellow Illumineer, said Archazia. Then she added, so low that Shanzai could barely hear, maybe this time it will go better. What do you mean? Shanzai asked. Nothing. Archazia stood up abruptly. It was a long time ago. Come, let's resume our lesson. Using his coil, Martin was magically floating up near the top of a bookshelf in the library, mumbling something Archazia couldn't quite hear into his cupped hand. Come down from there, young man, and speak properly. Startled, he quickly stuffed something into his pocket and pointed with his other hand at a line on a thought scroll drifting nearby. I don't understand this. What language is it? You're upside down, Archazia observed. Perhaps try reading it right side up. Martin floated down from the bookshelf sheepish. So, question. What would happen if half the Hexwell crown were to, disappear? You know, from the Illuminary. Archazia's eyes narrowed. Why do you ask? I'm saying, I just found out that the sphere holding the Hexwell crown is, well, empty. Just found out? But how did you... Martin held up a round communicator device he pulled from his pocket. Archazia laughed. I see there's more to you than meets the eye, my child. So, Archazia straightened to her full, formidable height. Half the broken crown is now missing. The other half was recently recovered safely, but only just. That makes it all the more important that you and your glimmers focus on training. Learn, practice, prepare. Are you ready? Martin jumped to his feet. Ready. He was about to start ink casting again when he noticed the glimmer of the scrappy dog he'd ink cast earlier delicately slurp up a spaghetti noodle. Ready right after dinner. I'll have my glimmers fan out on the island. Surely there's a story star or two out there that might help us prepare, Venturo said. Archazia nodded. That's wise, but be careful. I've been building up the island's defenses for ages. You mean all those obstacles? Yes, Archazia said with a growing smile, but maybe we can use them to your advantage. Venturo grinned. I see where you're going with this. Those obstacles can serve as a training ground. Precisely, Archazia said. And while your glimmers practice their skills and find those starry stars, there's plenty here for you to learn. The coils I gave you, they can increase your ink casting power if you study their secrets. Cool. Venturo tapped the incaster on his wrist and motioned his friends over. Okay, people, we got some story stars to find. Who's with me? The Illumineers watched as their glimmers set out to search for story stars on the island. What a wonderful home you have here, Archazia, said Venturo. We finally have what we need. Someone to teach us. With your help, we'll get that crown back and figure out how to repair the Illuminary. I hope your optimism in me is not misplaced. Archazia looked at the three of them and finally nodded, as if making a decision. Right. Let's get to it. Fin. I think that was quite the story.
Actually, that is a lot of story on what is essentially 19 cards. This one.
Yes. Is an extra.
Yeah.
With a little bit of extra art.
The back cover.
Yes.
Now, some we're not going to be going into, but each card, except for the last one here,
yes,
has a different frame, which makes a flip book.
Yes, that was also something we quite liked about this, aside from just the lore being laid out on the art cards.
And it's quite nice to have canon lore for this game now.
Yes. I mean, there has been a story throughout the whole thing, but it's it's physically here on cards.
Yes. So, anyway, thank you, Kami, for your fantastic reading.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. I hope you enjoyed. And please take care of yourselves. Bye-bye. Bye.